5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Happy Monday, everyone. I'm Ted, and this is Ted's Take for the week of the 19th of February, 2024, covering the Orange and Seminole County housing markets. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. It does help. And share this information with your friends. If anybody's interested in what's going on in the Central Florida housing markets, I'd like to be your resource. I'm providing this information every week, and I think the numbers are important. Now, I will say this. This broadcast is probably not for everybody. If you're not analytical and you don't like numbers, then this one's not for you. But if you do like to see those numbers and you do like to take a look at things, the data week to week, stick around for just a minute here. We won't take too long, but we do want to cover some of the more important aspects. Now, if you look at the new listings last week, 555, that's down just slightly from the week prior. But if you look at the 4-week moving average of about 543, last week's numbers are still a little bit higher than that. Looking at price increases, that was an interesting number. 160 homes increased their price last week, and that is a really kind of an interesting number because it's up 84% over the week prior. Now, the number of homes that took a decrease in price, 542, not 15%. Now, but if you look on average, again, 496 for the previous 4 weeks, 516 over last week. If you take last week in the moving 4-week average, right? So then they look at the number of properties that actually sold, 376 last week. So that's a 16% increase. That's a pretty good number. The number of properties expired, about average. Again, I report these as the average between 22 and 32 a week. You see the previous 4-week average of 34 and the moving 4-week average of about 33. This is because there was a really big spike at the end of January. Not really sure what was driving that other than maybe just being the end of the month, and that's when listing agreements typically expires at the end of the month. So, number of properties that went pending last week, 574, down a little bit, 2% from the week before, and a little bit off of both the 4-week and the moving previous 4-week average and the moving 4-week average. So, another number that we'll probably want to keep watching, I guess, would be the best way to put that. So, number of single-family homes sold over the last 30 days, 1,002. This is a significant increase over last week of 928. That was an 8% increase. If you look at the previous 4-week moving average, that was 881, and then it's steadily increased to 915. So, we are definitely getting more homes sold in the early part of this market. Now, these are homes that most likely went under contract somewhere in probably the first part of the year. We do see that it's funny because it's like right after Christmas, right before New Year's, people seem to go out and do this house shopping thing. And what you're seeing there is these homes that are closing out. Now, what would be really cool to see is if the numbers continue to increase week over week. 8% increase week over week would definitely clear out some inventory and hopefully would be some encouragement for other people to put their homes back on the market. And we're seeing the average number of days that single-family homes are spending on the market of about 46. That's about normal, about a month and a half. And the median actually is closer to about a month at 28 days. The sales price to list price ratio has been holding steady between 0.99 and 0.98. In other words, 98 and 99% of asking value. The median price of all homes in the market, so this includes not apartments, but condominiums, townhomes, half duplexes, manufactured, pretty much anything that's for sale in the market. The median price across the market was $435,000. Now, that had been holding steady at about $430,000 for a very long time. So this little increase, it's a 1% increase last week, but it's a significant number because I think we could be even seeing that median price number jump. Could also mean that just a number of lower priced properties have cleared off the market. There's wholesale type properties. Number of single family homes on the market, 2,278. That number is a little bit higher than it was last week. This is a good sign of an improving market. Last week was 2,731. On average, the previous 4-week average was 2,770, and we're definitely above the 4-week moving average, the current 4-week moving average of 2,752. So those numbers look good, and it looks very, very healthy. We're seeing a slight increase also in the median price per square foot, now at $262.40. Now, the median single-family residence on the market is selling for about $549,000. That is about a $10,000 increase over last week's recording of $539,775, and it is an increase over both the previous 4-week moving average as well as the current 4-week moving average. So we are seeing some slight increases in what's coming onto the market. These are, again, on-market homes. Does it mean that they're going to get that asking price? No, it doesn't. But let's go down a little bit further and we can see what that does mean. When we look at the number of single-family homes that are marked pending on the market, we do see that number increase from last week, about 4%. And we also see that we are definitely well above the previous 4-week moving average, as well as the current 4-week moving averages by a factor of well over 100 and close to 200 in some, depending on which number you're looking at. Now, number of single-family, the dollar cost on those single-family homes that are out there on the market at $480,229 is about the same as it was last week, and has been holding steady over at least 5-week period, as you can see by looking at the previous and the current 4-week moving averages. Median days to close, jumped a little bit last week, but that that number, median average number of days to close, or average number of days to close, 94. Typically we've been seeing it at 91, but again we've seen a little bit of a shift here and there. Number of days to close, that you throw holidays in there and stuff like that, it can screw with things. And we did have a couple of them over the last couple of weeks. I wanted to go ahead and start collecting a couple of additional numbers and additional metrics so we can see how these numbers are tying to activity in the market, because everybody that I speak with, whether they are getting ready to list on the market or thinking about entering the market as a buyer, everybody wants to know what's the interest rate, what are the interest rates, and what's their impact on the market. So we're going to include these numbers. These are factual. I'm not emotional on them or anything else, but I want to start including them, and let's see how these things change week over week and see what kind of an impact that has. It's probably going to be a little bit of a lagging indicator, but we'll see what the impact is, just to have an idea. So the average 30-year FHA was showing at about 6.75%. The average VA slightly lower at 6.625%, and the average 30-year conventional showing at 6.875. These are averages. These were taken from one site. I think this one was US Bank, reporting what they were seeing for the averages. If you go to other sites, you may see slightly different numbers. Again, I got to pick one. I don't want to spend all day long trying to figure out exactly what those averages, because they are going to change from bank to bank and from lender to lender. So we're just going to use this number. We're going to use this as a benchmark moving forward week to week. If I find a different source, or I find that the one I'm using is not as reliable, we'll move it and we'll make the adjustment and we'll make the notes. All right, listen, that kind of covers everything for the week. That's everything that I wanted to report. This is a broad market. This is a coverage of all of Orange and Seminole counties. I think you would find similar numbers if we included Lake and Osceola, and I'm happy to report on any of those areas. I work those areas. Those areas are also part of my market. Now, what I wanted to say about that, though, is your mileage will vary depending on where you're looking to buy. If you're looking to buy a home in Winter Garden, you're going to be paying something above the median price. If you're looking for a home in East Orlando, you're going to probably be finding something a little bit less than the median price. It really just kind of depends on what part of town you want to live in. And I'm not saying that Winter Garden is great. I'm not saying that East Orlando is terrible. It all depends on what part of town you want to live in. I think everyone knows where the more expensive parts of town are, where the less expensive parts of town are. I'm trying to report on the numbers. If you want numbers for your specific area, for your specific neighborhood, community, or the numbers on your street, give me a call. right here, 352-729-1019. Shoot me an email, tedmosley.realtor@gmail.com. This is really, really easy. I'll leave it up here on the screen so you can see that, but give me a call. I'm here to chat. I love talking about real estate, and I'll do it all day long. This is what I do for a living. So y'all have a great week. Take care of each other, and as I like to, in closing these things out, be kind. Have a great week, y'all.